So this is our project, Radarin, and we are the group en1a, and we are formed by Diego, Fran, me, and Jairo. Well, first, what is Radarin? Radarin is an app to show your current location and share it with your friends. The user can also save locations, inserting a unique name on the left part, as you can see there. And these are the two biggest functionalities of the app. Also, we implemented that it can work with Google Maps or Leaflet. Now, the working methodology we used can be seen here. First, the issues. The issues is a very important part in our work because it helped us a lot, because we use it in a type of to-do list way where we put in errors or new things we wanted to implement and save it there. Later, we used branches to implement these new features, like solving errors or adding these new features, so that we don't work on the main branch all the time. When we finish with these branches, we usually used pull requests, which were supervised by other person on the group or sometimes by the same person. And we merged these branches into the main branch. Also, we have the actions, which is a script run in GitHub. And if it works, it allows us for the continuous integration to deploy the application on the cloud. Okay, also we have the communication that in this year it was kind of special because, we are in this way. And first, we use Microsoft Teams that we're using now. Very important because we use it for all the meetings and everything, because we didn't meet physically in any moment. And we first did in class the organization for the week on Tuesdays because we have the lab class. And later, on 1 or 2 days a week, we usually did a work meeting where we usually work together, and most of the time we were like each one on its work, but we were chatting. And so also a group chat we made in WhatsApp for fast communication or arranging the meetings and so. And also the GitHub issues, as I explained before, for sometimes debating some topics or just leaving the errors for and assign it to another classmate, or yeah, it's just like a very fundamental milestone in organization. And then the architecture, which is going to be presented by Diego, I think, because it's the second part. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So now we are going to talk about the architecture we have developed in our application. We can see here the icons for all of them. They are Node.js, React, Solid World Maps, and Leaflet. So in the next slide, we are going to first talk about Node.js and React, which are more the front end of our application and implements most of the logic of it. We also use Node.js for npm, which is the package administrator of our applications, where we will install most of it, and most of the logic also will go through React. As we know, it's a JavaScript framework, so it allows us to develop it. In the next slide, we are going to talk about the essential tool in our application. As my colleagues will explain later, it's essential because Solid, we use it as our backend. So in our application, it allows us to log in and register into the application. We can store and access all the user data through it. We can for sure read the profiles, our own profiles and the friends ones. And once all of this information is get into the system and updated, we will update the state of the React components, allowing the user to have a visualization of all what's going on. So this technology is very important because it's the essential tool into our application. Everything goes around it, as we will see later. So in the next slide, we can see the architecture decision we have made about the map visualization, of course, essential as well. In our application, we have developed both of them, Google Maps and Leaf Left. We wanted to do like this because Google Map brings many more additional features. For example, we have the Street View implementation system, so it's a bit easier if we want to see where our friends are located at. The Leaf Left, we wanted to implement it for users a bit more concerned about their data and their privacy, because as we know, it's an open source and is not managed as through a big company such as Google. In the next slide, we wanted to present to you a general view of our architecture, just to have a visual view. Of course, there is something missing, which will be explained by my colleagues later. So, but the use is quite simple. The user will access to our application, and only through our pods and their friends pod, they will get all the information, all of their data, their names, their locations, and it will be displayed into our GUI. So this is kind of the overall of the architecture. Following in the next slide with the tests, we have developed as well a unitary test, end-to-end test, load test, and beta testing. The unitary test has been developed with Jest, en1a, and master worker and mocker master worker. The end-to-end test has been developed following the end-to-end principle of SOR. For SOR has been developed with Jest Cucumber tests. And this is so far for the architecture and testing presentation. Now my colleagues, I think it's Paco, will continue.
Yes. Again, sorry for not having my camera. I don't know what's happening with that. But anyway, the application can be either run with npm, deployed to a Docker container with the Docker file provided in the repository, or the main way to view the app is on Heroku. We chose Heroku as the cloud hosting because it's free and it works very well with different technologies. So we can have like Ruby for the documentation and Node for the application and so on. It works very well with that. And well, the teachers recommended it, so we said, well, may as well use Heroku. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Where's our database? We have no database. So where's all the data? Well, as Diego said before, all the data of the users are stored in their pods. So my current location is stored in my pod. My stored locations are stored in my pod. And my profile with my profile picture and everything is stored in my pod. This has a lot of advantages that we are going to cover now. First of all, the application, as it is open source, can be modified and extended very well. And as we are not using a central database, any modification to the client can be used with the, let's say, the main system. All clients will work the same. Then the main focus of this was privacy, because as there's no database, every user owns its own data. So we can choose with who I want to share my data and who I don't want to see my data. In this case, my actual physical location. So it's a very big deal. Then the application is compatible between hosts. This means that I can be running this application on my own machine, or I can be using it on Heroku or wherever, and it will be working fine between each other. So I will see my friends on Heroku, and they will see me if they are running the local host. This means that potentially this could be made into a desktop application or a mobile application or anything, any other client, because the application is open source, as I said. And well, it's compatible between versions. This means that you can be using an old client and it will be working the same. The disadvantages are that the application will probably use a lot of network bandwidth, because it has to ask your friend's pod every something time, that we will talk about this now, and it has the solid limitations. This means that if in-wrapped is down, the application will be down. If you want to implement something new, you will have to work with Solid, that sometimes is not very straightforward. And it's very difficult to test, because it wasn't very easy to mock things up with our setup. But I think it was worth it. We solved the network traffic issue by optimizing the way the application asks the pods. If you are closer, you will get updated sooner than if you are farther away. For example, if you are in the radius that will, in the radius of the map that will get displayed, you will get updates like every second, and if you are not in that circle, you will get updates every 10 seconds or something. And now Jairo will demo the application. Jairo.
I forgot to mute myself, I'm sorry. My name is Jairo. I'm going to demonstrate you how our application works. And if you allow me to share you my screen. Here you have it. So first of all, I'm going to log in into our application to show you how our login system works. I'm doing this from a private window because these days I've been observing Heroku and Solid are working kind of slowly. So to save time, I open session here, but I want to show you the login first. So we access Heroku, and the first thing we see is a pop-up window asking us to log in. We can choose our desired host either by clicking one of these quick buttons or writing the URL here. For example, I will choose en1a, and then we click go. Here we just introduce our user and password, and we can successfully log in. Since this will take some time to load, here is what we will see. We wanted to have a very simple website where we can easily access and intuitively interact with our application. So the first thing we see is the circle where our friends will be painted and our profile picture. Since this is using my pod, I chose not to use a profile picture to show you how the absence of it looks. Is this little man, and this little blue circle is one of my friends, which is our testing pod, and it appears in my house because I'm the one who connected to it the last, and it displays it last location. Now, regarding this slider, we can change the radius our friends are showed. The minimum one is 5 kilometers and the maximum is 100. As you can see, when I make it bigger, it shows friends and the friends that are in this radius. In this case, this is Sergio in his house, and shows a little notification. Now, regarding the rest of the interface, we have this side menu. The functionalities here are storing locations. Here we can save our current location. I'm sorry for the predictions, it's from another subject. We can write the name of our location, and it will be saved forever in our pod, so and displayed each time we access the application. For example, now I'm going to save one, and as you can see, this little red dot with the name of the location will appear. Then I can erase it, of course, and just clicking that button, it disappears both from the map and our pod. This is our friend list. We decided to use a code color to see the state of our friend. If it is green, our friend is showing their location. As you can see, Diego, here is his profile picture. Diego is sharing his location, and it appears here. Nevertheless, Fran, which would be around here, as you later will see, appears in gray. How can we choose to show or not show our location? We can just click this little button here, and from now on, for example, radarin won't be able to see my location. As you can see, Fran has just given me permissions from his pod, so now he appears and changes color to green. Then we have this button, the change map one. This is to change between Google Maps and Leaflet with no problem. The interface is pretty similar, but using the different maps, so there's no learning curve to interchanging maps. Then the Google Maps map has the usual functions such as zoom in, zoom out, both with the mouse wheel or the buttons, street view, and you can choose to show satellite or not, and show the relief of the terrain. And now, to show how the location is updated in real time, one of my colleagues will connect to radarin from their computer to show how its location changes. Well, as you can see, Fran has just disconnected, so its location stops showing, and I think he will connect to radarin right now. Paco?
Yes, I just changed the device, so now I'm on my phone, but I don't know what's happening today with my phone. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Well, while
if not, we have also the demo in a video if you want to show them.
yeah, we can show you a video later if you want.
But
While you try to connect this, I'm going to show you another feature I particularly like. Here I'm zooming in into Diego's position. Well, he's too far away from any road. But here. I'm sorry. But if I zoom in and enter with, now it's notifying every friend. Here, if I go with Street View to the position of one of my friends, if it is close enough to the road, I will be able to see.
On the other side. On the other side.
Vale.
Yeah.
Here, I'm able to see his little icon in the position he is with a Street View. So if, for example, I'm in a foreign city and I'm trying to meet with a friend there, and I'm not able to guide myself using only the map, I can have a view with Street View and make it easier to find it.
Thank you, Jairo. I mean, we're a bit over the schedule, I think. So I'll share the presentation again. All right.
Okay, have you finished?
Well, we have a small.
Yeah, we have like another slide with ideas for a version 2.
Okay, go on.
Yeah.
Do you want me from, or well, as you prefer?
Those are a few of the ideas we would implement on a version 2, like a way of adding image to your store locations, add friends right from the app, add a COVID status, so you know your friends have COVID symptoms or something. Add a way to remove markers from the map. That was not possible due to how React works with the maps. Add a shared locations menu and work on native desktop and mobile applications, and well, maybe a messenger, maybe not. So that was it. Thank you for your attention. Any questions?
Okay, well, I will stop the recording.